Hello everyone, I'm Elijah Crehan here with John Schwartz. Today we're going to come back with another video for more of our historical finds in Ridgefield, Connecticut.
Hi all, so unlike our first two videos where we focus mainly on coins, today we'd like to focus on some military related items found in the ground at the 1713 home in Ridgefield. So when we detect and find any item that looks to have any kind of military significance, such as a button or cufflink, we can't help but think about the possible connection to Ridgefield's involvement in the Revolutionary War. So after all, as many of you know, Ridgefield has a deep and significant history involving the Revolutionary War and activity, most notably the 1777 Battle of Ridgefield. And it's believed that George Washington actually visited Ridgefield on a couple of occasions. We know for a fact that General Rochambeau marched his troops through Ridgebury on his way to Yorktown. General Wooster, unfortunately, was mortally wounded here. And both British and Patriot troops suffered casualties in Ridgefield, which caused the British to actually rethink them ever executing a water landing again to fight in inland Connecticut. We know that Sybil Ludington is our area's Paul Revere. She rode 40 miles in the middle of a rainy night to rally up militia. And Benedict Arnold fought in the Battle of Ridgefield, and his horse was actually shot out from under him. So I'm going to ask Elijah, if you wouldn't mind, to pull up a slide. And as we wait for it to load, just a quick story. So as Arnold was lying on the ground, a British officer approached him, and he was ready to either take Arnold prisoner or to shoot him. And apparently Arnold shot the officer first and killed that officer. If Arnold was shot first and killed, this would have changed the course of history, and Arnold could have been known as a hero instead of a traitor as we know him today. So I'm not sure the validity of the story, but it sure makes one think. So as you can see the sketch here, and this was a sketch shared on Facebook by one of our incredible town historians, Jack Sanders, and it is an 1835 sketch done by John Barber. It is the oldest depiction of what the town of Ridgefield looked like and really looked like during the Revolutionary War. And on the lower left, you can see a circle, and that is where there's an adult and a child standing there. And apparently this is where Benedict Arnold's horse was shot out from under him. And I believe this is the location where the blinking light is, where 33 and 35 meet. So this is an incredible location, and it served as a tourist spot for over 100 years. So I got a bit off track, but you know, as I look at these locations and I think about them, it just gives me the urge to go metal detect them. So because of Ridgefield's deep history, it is so incredibly rich, you know, it motivates Elijah and myself to discover, touch, and research our past through metal detecting. And with that said, Elijah, please get us back on track and show us some of your finds from the 1713 location we've been detecting.
Love to. So the first find, military-related find I'm going to show you guys today is this Continental artillery button, which could also be a button, period correct, made by a local militia, as it varies a little bit. But this is a brass button that would have been made in the late 1700s to early 1800s. And it could have seen time on a soldier during the Battle of Ridgefield. You never know. I mean, with things like this, it has a lot of speculation, but definitely an amazing find. Size matches the back of it. The one that I found is missing the shank, but it is definitely a great piece of military history wherever it was used. And it depicts a cannon with a flag on the back of it, but definitely a cool piece of early American history. You can see some information about it down here. It is definitely a very rare find, and I did quite a bit of research to determine if it was authentic. And the general consensus is that it is definitely period and is likely Continental artillery. The next find is going to be a musket ball, which these are pretty common to find. This one is unshot. If it was shot, it would be pretty messed up because it's made of a soft lead material. This one is 75 or 69 caliber, which would have been used in a 75 caliber Brown Bess musket, which was used by the British during the Revolution and also by general civilians before and after that time period. But you can see the seam from when it was made, and there's a little flat spot on the left from where they had to cut off the piece from where it was made in the mold. It says down here what it is, the spear. But definitely pretty interesting and cool to find one that wasn't shot. This right here, I found a couple weeks ago, and I nearly didn't dig this target because of the iron chunk on the back of it. These are cufflinks that could have been used by a naval officer during the Revolution. They also could have been purchased by civilians, but they were quite expensive as they originally had gold gilt, so they're most likely military. They were used from 1774 until 1787, and they're pretty awesome. Definitely not a common thing to find. You never know who could have worn it, who lived at the house during the time. And it was set back pretty far on the property too, so could be some interesting history tied to it, but you never really know. But that's pretty much it for this week. We don't have too many finds, but I think that these three are definitely some significant ones that could be related to the Battle of Ridgefield or any other Revolutionary War incidents. But we hope that you enjoyed, and we hope to show you more finds soon.
Take care, everybody.